This is an old story. I've never seen any of the films which Ray Harryhausen worked on, but when he died, I caught a few minutes of a TV special about him which shook me to the core. All it took was the statement that, in the time since he'd stopped working on films, the particular brand of stop-motion effects which he specialized in had pretty much disappeared from mainstream movies. Half a decade later, I would sit at an Otakon panel listening to the currently 77-year-old Masao Maruyama talk about how, after 5 years of trying to find a director who could finish the late Satoshi Kon's final film, The Dreaming Machine, he was losing hope that anyone alive was talented enough to fill the genius's shoes. In the time since that 46-year-old director's untimely death, there has not been another realistically animated psychological thriller film in his style. When I was growing up, it was commonly understood that anime came in 4 basic release styles: TV anime, TV specials, movies, and OVAs, the last of which relied on inner circles of passionate fans to fund small but high-effort niche media properties via absorbently priced home video releases. This form declined in both quality and popularity after Japan's economic crash at the start of the 90s, and would be all but put to pasture when video streaming made them impossible to fund. Home video culture and the popularity of rental stores had once generated an economy of cheaply made, straight-to-video B-movies which had a chance of gaining notoriety amongst curious nerds through word-of-mouth spread. This culture was the one which latched onto Japanese animation from outside the country long before Cartoon Network found a way to market its edgier brand of children's entertainment to Americans by claiming it was for adults. In the 2000s, anime experienced an identity crisis as the technology behind its creation changed, as did its profit paradigms. Once Kyoto Animation and A1 Pictures cracked the code on how to modernize and monetize the design style of cute girls, there was a massive shift away from action spectacle pieces as the highest quality productions around to idol shows and dancing hoarding animator talent. An older guy from one of the anime forums I once frequented told me that when he bought anime DVDs, he simply slotted the discs into a binder and tossed the plastic. I thought he was crazy. All he cared about was supporting the industry. All I cared about was constantly reaffirming my sense of identity by way of representative art. My DVD and poster backdrop was a way for me to constantly project my feelings, to create an image of myself before I even opened my mouth, even if it only meant anything to me. My anime collection represents thousands of dollars of mine and many others who sent me things, our attempts to craft a sense of self or to communicate an understanding of one another via transaction. I will not mourn the death of physical media. It was always meant to go to the grave with me as an unwanted element in humanity's future. We no longer write on papyrus, and so too shall paper fall by the wayside, a selfish and practical hobby upkept only by the foolish romanticism of the old. When a particular art style seems to rise to cultural prominence, consider whether it is even possible for alternatives to exist. Isao Takahata has passed, and Hayao Miyazaki is very old. When he is gone, Ghibli will not likely continue to operate. The only reason that films which look like theirs will continue to be made is that people who trained under them have made another studio and more movies, but films which feel like theirs will never happen again. If the so-called CalArts style really were taking over, then it would only make sense. Not because it's so popular, but because it would have to be for a school to be kept open that teaches animation. If you want to live in a world where only auteurs with starkly original voices create art, you'll have a hard time putting teams together to make something like an animated TV series, and a harder time selling it to marketers who might put it in the purview of its audience. Propagation is not for the genetically superior so much as the genetically popular. Never stop searching for what speaks to you. Pour all of your energy into it, spend all your money on it, then die. That's all you can do. Make, buy, live, die, die.